I'm just the mouth.
Maxman is the beating heart of PUBG Mobile.
He is. He really is. Yeah.
Shout out Maxman.
Shout out Maxman.
The legend himself.
Yeah, he's not feeling great today, so if you can send the best loves and wishes to him.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah,
send well wishes to Maxman.
Yeah, please. Please do. Please do. But yeah, heading into the game on Miramar, straight away. We were pretty quick into this one, actually. It's nice. And it is a northern plane path over El Pozo down towards Junkyard. So chilling, really, big time. GT20 Pro on your screen as well. Make sure to check that out. It looks awesome, looks sick. 144 hertz. You can see everything all the time.
Unbelievable response time. It's beautiful and absolutely visually stunning, mate. So it'd be the perfect way to play PUBG Mobile.
Yeah. The perfect way.
Literally.
Definitive.
Yeah. Hands down, full
Definitive
stop, exclamation mark.
PUBG Mobile.
Yeah.
But exclamation marks aside, we got some question marks at the moment. Where people drop in, what people rotations like, what are we going to see in this game? Do you think it's going to be another chicken dinner separate from the current listing that we've had?
I quite like to see that. I think if we can keep today varied, it would really put us into quite an interesting predicament going into tomorrow to see what the sort of outcomes are looking like, so we can decide a little bit easier, you know, where the lay of the land is, what the power rankings are shaping up to be. So yeah, I'll go for it. You know what? Let's see if someone else can take the chicken dinner. You know, don't be greedy.
Don't be greedy. Everyone gets a bit.
Yeah.
Everyone gets one.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one.
And then whoever gets two wins.
Yeah. And that's generally how it works. If someone gets two, that means they've automatically got three. Okay, at the end of the day. But already teams are moving out. La Copa we got Moneymakers up there, which is kind of sort of weird for an international tournament because you're used to seeing Gladiators up in this position for the longest time overall. But Moneymakers will pick that up. The European representatives, they will take up the Europeans that are not here with us today, sadly. Boom Esports down towards Impala currently, and Montenuevo taken by D plus Kia. Kind of like the Montenuevo pick from D plus Kia, honestly, Jackie. Yeah. Gives them a lot of opportunity to get into the zone nice and quick.
All right, all right. I'm living for it, Blank. I'm excited to see how this one goes.
Ooh.
I feel like today's been quite spicy already, mate. Oh,
yeah.
Hang on a minute. Talking about spicy, that's a jalapeno.
Yeah, that is a jalapeno. Jalapeno?
Well, no, you've got to say it as it's spelled. Come on. Otherwise, it's not as funny.
That's a jalapeno, though.
Yeah, that's a jalapeno.
Jalapeno. Yeah. Extremely spicy way to start the game here. Scotch bonnet on the head with the old DMR. SLR coming through over towards Yumbin, sorry, on DRX, takes them down, start things off. IWNRX as well as Tiamba in this location. Now, this is a position that has been challenged out quite a few times for IWNRX. They know how to play this split in El Azahar. They played it multiple times, I believe, versus Power, in fact, who are in this tournament in El Azahar. So I think if anyone would win this fight, my money's probably further towards IWNRX's side because they've had a lot of practice at dealing with hot drops like this.
For Tiamba as well, you know, we're definitely seeing that they've got the punch in some of these fights.
What are you doing?
Maybe they're not so much. That kind of feels like you've been hit with a gut punch immediately. Out in the open, almost like you didn't expect it. Bit of a Jack Box style pop-up, make it a bit of an easy cleanup. You can get the trade around the back as well. There's not really going to be much room for recovery on that one. That's a man down.
Yeah, I can see where he was looking like, oh, Zedwolf with this high ground position, well, he's nasty. Drops the smoke. He is low, though. I'm wondering if he has any kind of medication up there on his side. First aid kit would be beautiful. Maybe some stims, but instantly set themselves up for high ground lookout, which is always nice to see, especially now as a heart, because you can see there, just even from just QZ, like he was looking over towards the warehouses, but right now, because Zedwolf is on high, has long range to deal with, he's passing all that information back.
Oh, mate.
Bond, can't even get through.
Yeah, I really don't know. It's kind of mad, actually. They've been hit with the unlucky stick on this one as well instantly. The amount of chip damage you've established off the back of the knock, at least there was some meds there, so you can somewhat reset from the engagement.
Yeah.
But you really have been hit with an instant confidence wipe.
Yeah, early game as well. You know, level 1 helmet, just got himself a level 2 vest as well. So for Tiamba, they are desperately looking for supplies, but it felt like IWNRX already just set up, good to go. Swain will jump into the vehicle. I think they've already done the damage, Jackie, and realistically, Circle going to be moving in soon. IWNRX might want to move further into the zone. Not like Tiamba's going to be looking too much towards taking some pick-off shots towards IWNRX after, like you said, a lot of that chip damage has already come through onto their side. It's nice to see. I'm liking this from IWNRX, not fully committing onto this fight too hard as they head through. Toshpik sliding slightly, trying to get the angle.
See, that's the thing about
Sticky
vehicles,
wheels.
Blank, you know. They're supposed to drive forwards, but they can also just go vertical if you're brave enough.
And side as well. Come on, Toshbik. There you go.
There
Perfect. Up on high, has the scar.
Little known fact about him as well, does a lot of rock climbing in his spare time.
He does, yeah. He knows the holds.
Yeah. He's got strong grip strength.
He actually wears wheels on his feet and hands.
When doing the climbing,
When
so
doing
that
the
he's
climbing.
training for PUBG.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He gets all that mobile experience in the rock climbing facility.
Exactly. Right now, let's take a quick look at the standings. Honestly, I think that this is a good thing. It's a good time. Take a quick look at it. Inco right now in 11th place. I think I'd bump them higher right now at this point in the tournament, but currently 16 points. Not ideal. Boom Esports winners from SCA. Feels weird for them to be down here in 13th, 13 points. That's nice. That is nice. 13th place, 13 points.
Keep it consistent.
A point for your placement.
Makes it a bit harder, though, if you want to try and climb up the rankings.
Yeah, you'd have 1 point in first place, which is not feasibly possible. But D plus Q with 47 points, they are far and away ahead of a lot of teams, alongside with Alpha 7 currently rocking on the 45 right now. Reject not too far behind with 35 points, but she just didn't get a single point in the last game. Still sat on 31.
Keeping themselves in a nice little position. Oh, mate, I hope to see some more of the action we were getting from KAG as well in terms of those more isolated fights. Look pretty good for them, the Kago-Saka squad. We'll see what they've got for us here as we change out the lay of the land and what they can pull out over the course of this one. And a quick glance over at the map screen as well, seeing what our rotations are shaping up like and what we're working with. You've also got the crowd shot there, the building starting to fill out a little bit. Al Hadje was getting everyone excited and really dialed in for the games today. Everyone waving towards us. There you go, Blank. It's always nice to have everyone in the building with us.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's been a while, honestly, since we've had like a good old audience watching the games. I'm happy to see the people coming out to watch PUBG Mobile.
It's a nice turnout.
Yeah, it is a nice turnout. Come to support their teams. I'm hoping the Power continues to have some strength into these games. Sadly, at the moment, not looking too good in 14th place, but I think they could bump those numbers up easily. Kago-Saka attempted to get across some pretty difficult ground, moving through the trees and the bushes.
The foliage, if you will. No overcommit though from OCO. Back off to the rest of the squad. He took his opening opportunity when he saw one presented with a wide open land. Few bullets cast across, but they've kind of switched themselves onto the potential situation of the nearby squads in the area. So playing on the lip of the ground here, providing yourself with a bit of cover so you can't just get hit from the sideline. So isolate those angles as best as possible.
Yeah, I think if you're Rejects as well, you understand that you're pretty close towards the center of the circle.
Yeah.
You don't want to be taking too many fights at this point in the game because there are so many teams still alive, right? They could just crush up towards you. And I think we've already seen that Reject does not play ball well with teams up in their face. And that's something they'll maybe have to work on a little bit. Long range-wise, though, Reject has been really good.
They hit some snapshots. Their tracing is actually unbelievable. The way they're able to stay on target from distance, you'll see that a lot. You know, we were talking back in the green room with the sniping that we were seeing as well. Very impressive stuff with how they were able to hit those shots and just make it look so easy from distance, Blank.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's nice to see. So I think for Reject, they're going to try and play to their strengths here, which is what you need to do. It's not something, not a kind of change that you can make instantaneously in the day either, right? It's not something where you'd be like, look, we failed in the 1v1, up close and personal. Let's fix that right now. No, this is a case of you get home later. Goodness me. You get home later and they'll work on that then because you do have ample time where you can come through this group stage, get into the top 12, get towards the main stage, and then play from there. Looking over towards the map, though, heavy eastern shift over towards Impala. Boom will be pretty happy about this one, but this is awkward area to play. A lot of this high ground down towards that southeast side, Jackie, which is huge for a lot of squads, and they want to get towards that nice and early. Tiamba would have liked to have picked up a big position like this, but with the amount of players that they're rocking with, holding those sight lines less easy now, even though that they were given this opportunity.
Yeah, been favoured in some ways, but cursed in others, and it can always come back to make it far, far more awkward when they're trying to actually defend these angles. Okay, spot on the cross here. Nice initial shot across, actually. That's not bad. Hefty chunk of damage established.
I respect the fact that he went for the Mini 14 as well. That's DX Xavier and Besiktas on the same spot at the moment.
Oh,
Toshbik does go down. That's towards Lamborghini. Quick finish on him too.
Yeah, Lamborghini starting to increase the miles per hour he's playing with on this one. Keep the pressure on a bit. Hopping straight back in the vehicles, though, after finding themselves one piece of the pie. They don't want to over-engage into this fight. So do reposition. You've got better ground to work with here. Cover from either side and the higher ground to at least a look down. Should be all right on the rotate out and regroup.
Yeah, for Besiktas, they've been losing a player. It's not great early, but again, I think for Besiktas, Poser, Lewis, kind of the top dog on this team. Kakali does make some nice plays, but I do feel like Toshbek's sort of lower down on my rankings on that squad. So I don't think it's the end of the world for them there. Lewis really did come in like a firecracker towards EMEA. Sort of an interesting player to suddenly make a big come up. Here's Reject though, D plus Kia getting very close. That's a nice nade, Jackie.
Oh, that's huge actually. It's the up close aggression as well that this time does go in their favor. Sara is able to defend in the close quarters engagement.
What's happening?
No. He tried to get back in through the doorway blank, but it's all going wrong. I might have cursed them with my very words, as now the tables have turned entirely. It looked like you got some nice chip damage off to control the fight. The longer it's gone on, they're hemorrhaging players. You're in a really bad spot, at least trying to buy a bit of space with Julio's nades from the sidelines. But look how close they've got, and you do have realized the opportunity here to sneak in through the back and really raise hell.
Yeah, it's a sick little angle coming through from the Alliance. Straight in there, looking to hit some nades, do some chip damage. Duello in a horrible spot at the moment. Oh. Nade goes off, and now D plus Kia, big challenge on their hand. 2 players down, really up to chips now at the moment, alongside with Osal. Not an easy fight here, Jackie. I think they did just lose another player. Nobu takes a massive amount of damage. Shots just going through the smoke. Osal goes down to Jimmy.
Yeah, you can just run away with this one now. Easy pickings from the damage you've been able to establish. They picked their timing perfectly on that fight. Yeah. Came in with great cover as well. Oh, the near miss on the close range angle. It could have been a bit of a saving grace for them, but you've really got to hit those shots blank, and they are just not delivering.
Olio. Nicely done here. For Alliance coming off the back of the chicken dinner as well. I mean, you continue a bit of momentum, a bit of that fearsome plays that you've just seen into this match. I mean, they've just completely cleared out that southwest side now, making what was pretty tough rotate to get up towards the northeast here just a little bit easier. You've removed 2 teams. That's massive for the guys on Alliance. Boom, though, taking shots over towards DRX. They have actually fanned out quite a bit over towards this southwest side. And I like that play because there is going to be a lot of teams coming over this very open ground that we talked about earlier. So if Boom can hold them out, get a good stronghold down towards the southwest side, they can play that out nice and easy.
Yeah, spread yourself out a little bit more. Have the early warning system. Detect the players from the sides. You can see here as well, not wanting to be overconfident, Alpha 7, it goes both ways, the information between them and For Miracle Vibes with how they're just trying to keep their eyes on the ridge. If anyone overextends, looking to get the damage down, they'd be in a good position to attempt to deal with it. Spreading out a little bit more though, around on the edge side. Ooh, I don't know, Blank, this could get a little bit tasty the longer it goes on. You've got the Inco rotation up on screen as well as they're making their moves vastly further out.
Yeah, I think for Alpha 7, it is one of those difficult positions where you can move up towards the coast on that north side, try and circumvent a lot of the sight lines, but you're still not in the best of spots to play out the game. You have to wait for almost some action to be happening, and I think right now Alpha 7 is penned in. 4MV coming down the side. Apex has a nade in hand. It's a general idea where they're playing from, but McGrellan's got a big task.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a bit of an opportunity if you can get the perfectly placed nade to at least buy yourself time for the fallback, but it's the angles that are so awkward with where they're trapped on.
Ooh, this is cool. Alliance coming in here, Jackie, as well, going in for another third party. And again, that pass up towards the northeast side versus Boom, horrendous, but an opportunity has been given. This is massive.
Oh, there's layers on layers to this one. It's like an onion blank. They've now got the height on top of them, but it's all gone a little bit west with how they're setting themselves up from the sideline. I mean, Alpha 7 trying to contend with For Miracle Vibes. You get Udu in from the back to put the pressure on. Now Alpha 7 being nipped out by the zone as well, looking to take these fights where possible. You've got the quick rotate for the one man that's kind of in a bit of a livable position to make a getaway in Apex. The rest of the squad trying to trail behind and catch up. Oh, it's all gotten a bit messy.
It has. I mean, good, quick swing there from Alliance because it looked bad versus Reefers, but yeah, they were able to take him out. Cluck even being on like 2% HP there, but this is great for Alliance. Able to get into the circle now, circumvent, like I said, a tough rotation. Really, really nicely done. Cleo goes down out in the open. This is the difficulty of pushing over towards this northern side. It's just open space, and Alliance hunting now, just passing over the field. Should be able to pick up a nice elimination there on top of it, but they see 4 and V. They're stuck down towards the lower ground. They try and go for this split here. Power is in the wings though, Jackie.
There's room for someone else to get involved. It just depends if they're quick enough to make it over there. Spreading themselves out, pot shots being taken back down. They're closing the gap between them. You've got pressure being applied. For Miracle Vibes, at least trying to stay alive and live on a prayer in some of these encounters, Blank, but it's gone in the end as they will be shut down. Nice pressure, but they can reset from it.
Brother, we've got Alliance up to 9 eliminations on the game. Jimmy, I think he was on 1% before he bled out. They pick him up. This is insane behavior from the guys on Alliance. No, he's down. He's dead. He's gone. He's gone.
Unfortunate.
Here's a quick replay, though. This fight was very well managed from D plus Kia versus Reject on what was a pretty difficult push, but Alliance just waiting here, ready to push in. I think they were very on the ball, on the money. Even from this fight, head over towards Alpha 7 versus 4 Miracle Vibes, because you're picking and choosing where you can head in. It's like, do we push up towards the northeast? It's open ground. We could challenge, but then an opportunity arises. They're instantly on it.
It's the comms as well, mate. You know, those kind of situations where it does have to be the correct decision in a split second. You could see the way they were communicating off each other, prioritizing the fights. When they gave up on the chase, went over and took out for Miracle Vibes, it looked good for them. And they've not given up the chase either. Power were rotating in. Now they're locked into a bit of a clash. You've got the nades going across. That's another pickup. That's easy down on the floor. They're really cleaning house right now. They're the kings of the lobby.
I mean, they're stuck in a horrid position here versus Power. I mean, Power's just all grouped up. Any kind of nades are going to be devastating. Great smokes as well over towards Power. Really limits a lot of their sight lines here, and they are just pushing onto them. Alliance sort of taking it away here in this game. It's really good to see. These nades aren't amazing, though. Now to get towards the backside. Al-Haji even moves into the shack. They think they've cleared it. Another one goes through. It's great onto Fadan. Now it's just Al-Haji trying to hold it down. Gets the first. Will flush him out.
Does at least commit onto it and have that to work with. It's an awkward angle, though, through the clip of the doorway. They run on in. An Alliance silencing the Power fans. They were flying the flag high inside of the venue, but it's all gone wrong, at least with the response back. And this is the warpath that you are on, still continuing. I mean, they're resetting on these fights each time as well. Oh, man, they're looking really devastating right now. You still got close grouping, though, Blank. Power aren't entirely out of it. There's a few fragments of what remains of Tiambra as well in the near area.
It's just crazy to me that we haven't seen Boom try and get in on any of this. All they've done is sort of move from compound to slightly better strong positions. And Alliance is sort of playing how we saw IHC play at PMGC, which is just elimination heavy. But technically, they've already won out on this game. 12 elims, 12 points.
Mad.
Even if you go out now, this is a strong game. This is a really strong game coming through from Alliance. And they'll be happy with this. Basically just jumping up the rankings in 2 matches. Nice and easy. The rest of the teams, really no one even close to that 12 elim mark. It's only Brute Force over on that western side with the 5 elims sort of trailing behind them in a big way.
I mean, Brute Force here on your screens, at least making the use of the utility they've got inside of their kit. Those nades going downhill, causing a few issues with the position you've got to play with. It's not the nicest spot to be penned in on. If you go for the exit round on the side as well, Brute Force have a good spread in terms of the angles. Should be able to get a nice amount of damage off.
Yeah, this is typically Brute Force's best map as well as Miramar. I think they love their splits, man. And if they're able to get a nice split out in open ground, they're just great at fighting it out. Another nade goes through. On top of that, he's getting a lot of damage done here, but I think Neos is now fresh out of the older detonations. We'll just drop the smokes, look to potentially hold IWNRX as they come out from this one. They're going to use the vehicles, start to pop over towards the top side. Good couple of shots. Actually, an instant headshot.
Oh, mate, yeah, that's despicable, Blank. The initial engagement's good for him, but he keeps it going. Hang on a minute. He's not content with that, is he? He wants to take down the whole squad on his lonesome. He's the last man, belly on the ground, peppering the bullets over the top. He's got the backup for the closer as well, and they're good for it. Brute Force living up to their name.
Neos basically with a 1v4 there. Insanity coming through. This guy's aim is disgusting. We're going to get a replay over here, over towards the Power. engagement. Some great nades here coming through from Cluck, one after another to finish it up. But honestly, all my mind is on right now is that engagement between Neos and IWNRX. Just disgusting shot after disgusting shot. And tracing the heads whilst they're in vehicles, that's not an easy task. And Neos does make it look fairly simple. Just another day in the park, really.
Yeah, the way he was flicking off targets as well, prioritizing the HP pool and being able to deal enough damage to clean up on that, even before the backup had arrived. Didn't overcommit to the fight either. Wasn't running that many risks. It's nice to see. And they might be committing to this one here at least. You've still got such good height to work with. So they're constantly keeping themselves switched in, being a presence in the other squad's minds. Meanwhile, down towards Boo, said we haven't seen too much of them, but they've found Tianba, and it is a scrap for control of the land.
Mayumi's down as well. I mean, Tianba doing pretty well here. The fact that you got the U underneath just dealing with the entirety of the team on his lonesome. Long has to come with the DPS, do some huge action for himself, but will be taken out. Just one final player there from Tianba, and somehow Boom's able to hold on. It looks really bad inside that building. Bond, though, he's on his way. License to eliminate.
Oh, he's coming up. If he can find an opportunity, Molly could be in a pretty good spot as well. Try and burn him out, play with a range. Oh, turns his way through the door, blows the first man down, DPS causing problems, looking for the hard commit on the back as well whilst he's dropped. And this actually does keep it guessing a little bit. Makes it far harder for Boom now. They thought they had an opportunity to reset, but Bond's turn up and he's bringing the heat to them.
Yumi finishes out Frenzy from his own team. That is really bad news. I mean, sure, he got an elimination for his troubles. Now shots coming through from the side. And Boom, who were in a pretty damn good position at the beginning of this map, have just done really nothing with it. They haven't sent out. They haven't claimed ground. They've just sat around. And I think this is the problem when you come to these international events, is you've got to be frag heavy. And the Xavier knows it.
Oh man, they're straight in. Looked like there was a bit of a timeline there. You could have got the damage off and the initial dropout from the vehicle, but the response isn't good enough. Good use of the nades as well. They clear out the entirety of the top floor and it is gone.
Bond's still here, though. I don't think they realized because they saw the final flush come through. Bond's still in the wings. Nade comes through, and it's the DBS on top of it. Bond goes in. The secret spy. They had no idea. The quick loot. And Tianba lives to see another day.
Oh, that's huge from him, mate. He played it so smart. The initial engagements, the way he's gone back in, that's 2 cleanups from him. And overall, that's just absolutely genius. They had no idea Bond was still around. He's just all guessing.
Absolutely has. That was nuts from Bond. I mean, fair play, you let 2 of your teammates die whilst you're slowly running up the hill, but if you come in, you cause a commotion. I mean, honestly, if you're Boom, you're so worried. You get that second knock, you're like, where's the third guy?
Where is he?
Where is he? And Bond's come in and just played off the back of it really, really well. And again, like you said, the retreat coming through from him on that fight. So when they flushed out the entirety of Boom, they had no idea another player was there. And you've always got to be careful, especially when you hear a third-party engagement going off. You've got to assume always there's another team potentially in that position. Bond is now on his last legs.
Yeah, living on borrowed time there. Still lucky to be actually inside of the matchup. Bit of a stab back from Berserk Task, seeing if they can sneak their way in. At least do some damage. That's brute force that have been up on this hill for far too long. He doesn't want them to be able to live out their movie like this throughout the rest of the flow of the game.
Yeah, Besiktas is over on this southwest side at the moment, and they are struggling because, like you say, brute force has really dominated a lot of this high ground. It's Neos and just pre-pod left remaining, but there's a lot of games where we have seen brute force play on with very limited amount of members, but still do very well. But coming up against Moneymakers, another Miramar champion team, with the 4 players on board, it's going to be a tough task. It's going to be a really tough task. They have just completely committed over towards this eastern side. Bishkek is over towards the northwest, so they have a lot of sight lines. A nice to be playing with, nice to be working with. Likely they're just going to jump on top of this fight once it starts. But I think if you're brute force and Besiktas, right, you got some camaraderie in the fact that both your names start with B, but also you got camaraderie in the fact that you don't want to fight one another. You want to create a very difficult scenario for a 4-man team like Moneymakers to come in. So you sort of have to have this agreement between one another.
The gentleman's agreement. You know the win condition for either one of you, and it makes sense to try and avoid those engagements if possible. Put yourself into a better position to go for the actual chicken dinner overall. For Tianba, it's a whole different story. The solo, the main man that's been causing issues in Bond, he's just looking for the longevity longevity on this one, if he can find any other opportunities to take a stab in the dark when they're unexpecting his potential pop-up, that's what he's going to be going for. He's got a good position in terms, at least the back line, could have a slow rotate up around the hillside. Maybe there's something to be said for it.
I mean, he's got mega loot on board as well. I mean, from that house was literally just filled with treasure in it. Brute Force, spot a player there. It is Koa up close, has a nade. We'll be sending it across pretty shortly. Cook seems kind of good on it too. But there's so many sight lines here. And with the circle heading over towards the northeast, this is sort of a guaranteed victory here for the Moneymakers. Neos cannot play up to the pressure here. Will fold underneath it.
You're picking off any of the potential opportunities that could steal this one away from you. And best case for Tiamba, really, if you just lift this one out, keeping your head down, I mean, there's a potential second place that could be accumulated for you off the back of it. As Moneymakers are just running their way through anyone that dares to fight them at this point, it's another easy pickup. One by one, they're dropping.
Yo, this is crazy. Bond's about to get a second place off his double team elimination inside Longhouse. This is insane work from Bond on Tiamba. Even now challenging against the final players of Moneymakers. I don't think he's got long left in this world, but what a performance from him this game.
You're going to be happy with that one. For what it was, Blank, one man left alive, just Bond played it smart with a runaway. In the end, though, the chicken dinner itself will be claimed by Moneymakers. They play that one out with a high ground and the smart positioning, taking their fights and cleaning out.
Usually it's Bond that gets the win, but this time around it is Moneypenny coming through from the Moneymakers that will be able to take themselves a chicken dinner on this match. And once again, it's variation in terms of who's picked.